In this video, I will test the best Supertrend indicator strategy for beginners created by Trade Prime to see if it makes money. I will backtest it 100 times with an initial account size set at $1,000 with 1 to 1.5 risk-reward ratio. I will also try to improve the strategy in the second part of this video, so stay tuned for that. Okay, I'm gonna do my backtesting on the price of gold on a 15-minute chart, and now let's go ahead and add our indicators. So for this Supertrend strategy, we will need to add 2 Supertrend indicators. And now we need to change the settings on one of them. So we will need to change the ATR period from 10 to 20 and the ATR multiplier from 3 to 5. Let's also change the colors. Okay, now let's understand what the Supertrend indicator is and how it works. So a Supertrend is a trend following indicator similar to moving averages. It's an overlay indicator, which means it goes directly on a chart. As the name suggests, this indicator is based on trends. If the green line is below the candles, this means that the trend is bullish. And when the red line is above the candles, this indicates a bearish trend. This indicator also provides buy and sell signals. And the reason this strategy consists of 2 Supertrend indicators is to filter out bad signals. So now let's understand how to trade with this strategy. Okay, so for our entries, we're only going to be using signals issued by the faster moving Supertrend, the one that's on default settings. And for the signal confirmation, we're going to be using this slower moving Supertrend. So for a long position to be valid, we need to have a new buy signal issued by the faster moving Supertrend, and the slower moving Supertrend has to agree. Our stop loss will be set at the recent swing low, and we will be targeting 1.5 times the risk. We see the idea here is basically to go with the trend and to not take trades at the time when the price movements are insignificant. Exactly opposite would work for shorts. We will only place a sell order if we have a new sell signal issued by the faster moving Supertrend and the slower moving Supertrend agrees. Our stop loss will be set at the recent swing high, and a take profit target will be set at 1.5 times the risk. Now, you might encounter situations when you have a faster moving Supertrend issuing a sell signal, but the slower moving Supertrend is not confirming it. And then a few candlesticks later, you have the slower moving Supertrend catching up. So the question is, would you take this short trade? And the answer is no, you would not take this short position. And the reason for that is that we do not take into account the signals issued by the slower moving Supertrend. You will also have a situation when both of the Supertrend issuing a signal at the same time. So in this case, you would take a trade. Sometimes we are missing out on some really good moves, and this is probably the downside for this strategy. You should also avoid taking any trades when the price is moving all over the place and making candlesticks like that, because most of the times you will have a pullback and you will get stopped out. Okay, I hope you have understood the rules for this strategy. It's really easy and any beginner can use it. So let's actually do our backtesting and see how well this strategy performs in different market conditions. Okay, so we see the strategy is not that bad. It actually makes quite a lot of money. The win rate is 56% and we increased our account size by 115.19%. I found those 100 setups within 6 months. So yeah, it's definitely profitable on gold. However, we do see that we had some serious drawdowns. But again, considering the fact that we're only using 2 indicators, these results are really good. The profit factor is 1.91 and we had 8 consecutive wins against 8 consecutive losses. Okay, so just like I promised at the beginning of this video, I'm gonna try to improve this strategy, and the goal here is basically to minimize our drawdowns. Okay, so for that I decided to get rid of this faster moving Supertrend and add a couple more indicators to the chart. So for the first indicator, let's search for HVI, this indicator by Lazy Bear, and for the second indicator, let's add QQE mod. Okay, now we need to make some slight adjustments to these indicators. So let's first access the settings on this volume indicator and change this value from 3.6 to 1.5. Okay, so right away we can see that we got less colored histograms. Now let's double click on this QQE mod and get rid of this QQE line. And the reason I added these indicators to the chart is to better identify the continuation trends. Okay, now let's understand the trading rules. Okay, so we're only going to be looking to sell when the super trend is bearish, the QQE mod has to turn red, and the histogram on this volume indicator has to be red as well. The money management rules will stay the same. I actually discovered this volume indicator today and it's probably going to be in my top 5. It issues quite accurate signals, especially on these settings. For the long position to be valid, we need to have the super trend bullish. The QQE mod has to issue a new buy signal, which means the histogram has to turn blue, and the volume histogram has to be colored in green. We see the signals are really accurate. We also see that not all the signals are confirmed by the volume indicator, which is really good. Also notice that the histogram is grey during the time when the market is moving sideways, which is really helpful as we want to avoid these times as much as we can. Also, if you do not have a confirmation from the volume on the candlestick where the QQE mod issued a new signal, you do not wait for the next candlestick for it to catch up. You just skip the signal and wait for better opportunities. The majority of traders think that they need to find a strategy that would give them the best entries, but in reality the best strategy is the one that eliminates as many losses as possible. And just by looking at this strategy I can tell that it's doing a really good job. We see that without this volume indicator we would have had a lot of fake signals. So let's now do our second backtesting and see if the strategy is any better. Okay, so we see the strategy has improved a lot. Our win rate is 65% now, and we increased our account size by 236.77%. I found those setups within 4 months, which is not that bad for the 15-minute chart. And we also achieved our goal to minimize our drawdowns. The profit factor is 2.79 and we had 9 consecutive wins against 4 consecutive losses, which tells us that the strategy is pretty solid and it can make us a lot of money. Okay traders, I hope you enjoyed this strategy and the new volume indicator I shared with you today. And if you could spend 1 second of your time and like this video, I would appreciate that a lot. Okay, I'm off. See you in the next one.